Two things have changed for Markelle Fultz that could save his career. They called him a bust before the trade to Orlando, but that's not new. He didn't even make varsity as a sophomore in high school, but he played his way onto the McDonald's All-American team and became the #1 pick. Then, dude tore his ACL right when he was establishing his game, but he already signed that $50 million contract because the Magic believed in him, and we're starting to see why. The first change that happened while Markelle was out, the Magic front office. They are finally coming back from being the worst front office in the league. After Dwight Howard left in 2012, they showed the NBA how to screw up a rebuild. They dismantled their young, talented 2014 team with really embarrassing decisions. In 2015, they drafted Mario Hezonja over Devin Booker and Miles Turner. In 2016, they acquired Joe Harris and just waived him. He's been one of the best three-point shooters in the league recently. In 2016, they traded Tobias Harris for Ersan Ilyasova and Brandon Jennings. Then they drafted Domantas Sabonis, but traded him, Victor Oladipo, and Ilyasova for Serge Ibaka, who didn't even last a full year because they traded Ibaka for Terrence Ross and a first-round pick that became a useless player. In 2017, they finally fired their GM, Rob Hennigan. Since then, they've drafted decent players like Mo Bamba and Jonathan Isaac, but when Fultz came back from his ACL, he had a whole new roster. Cole Anthony dropped 20 points a game in back-to-back months when he was healthy. Jalen Suggs has a ways to go, but at least he was number 10 on the NBA's rookie rankings. But number 4 on that list was Franz Wagner. He leads all rookies with 1,038 points scored this year. This graphic from the Magic broadcast shows his greatness. Franz leads all rookies in field goals, free throws, three-pointers, and in true shooting percentage. He's efficient, and he's already one of the best cutters in the entire NBA as a rookie. His movement off the ball is like something that you'd see on the Warriors, and it's a perfect fit with Markelle Fultz. His first assist when coming back was to Franz Wagner. The second change that happened is his shot. This has been a concern since day one, of course. Part of the reason that Markelle was drafted #1 is he hit over 40% from 3 in college. A perfect fit next to Ben Simmons for multiple reasons. Okay, really, it was just one reason. In his Summer League debut against Jason Tatum, who the Sixers passed up on, Fultz hit smooth jumpers. Even had Kevin Durant tweeting about it. But that smooth pull-up Hezzy Jimbo didn't last for long. A report came out that Fultz had a dysfunctional relationship with his own mom. Ebony Fultz took more control of Fultz's schedule and finances. She'd argue with Markelle, whom she continued to view as her baby boy despite now being a multi-million-dollar brand. They'd fight over cleaning out storage boxes. She'd call him dozens of times a day. One day, after a particularly trying fight over his desire to purchase a new car, Fultz met with his trainer at the gym. He shot the ball worse than he had in weeks. So was that why Markelle's shooting form got messed up? Or was it the motorcycle accident we heard about? I actually don't think the motorcycle thing is true because Philly did a physical on him, but it doesn't matter. All we really know is his shot was broken. He took one jump shot in his first game, but he couldn't hide it at the free throw line. He looked like Charles Barkley's golf swing. Even if this wasn't Philly, notorious for getting emotional, it would be a huge deal.
Right now, it appears to be the biggest bust in NBA history.
That kind of stuff was being said about Markelle after just 4 games of pro basketball. But Markelle blamed a shoulder injury and he spent 5 months working on his shot. When he finally got back, his form looked good, but he only attempted 1 jump shot and 0 free throws. Yes, he became the youngest player to get a triple-double, but the Sixers shut him down after 3 horrible playoff games, and by the next year, they gave up. They traded him for Jonathan Simmons and a first that became Tyrese Maxey. So a lot of people hate hearing the term bust, but his own team gave up on him. Then Markelle fired back after the trade. I think it excites me to have coaches that you know are going to push you to be better and not just tell you what you want to hear. Those are strong words, but could he actually back it up? In his first season, he played 72 games, averaged 12 points and 5 assists in just 28 minutes. He showed flashes of elite playmaking. His drives and craftiness at the rim were as good as it gets. While his three-point shot was still bad, the Magic gave him that 3-year, $50 million deal. Fultz said, "This is probably my first year since I've been a part of the NBA. I can just focus on basketball. So now I'm really focusing on being the best basketball player I can be." And then he tore his ACL 8 games in. Can nothing go right for this kid? But since he has come back from that, 2 things about his shot have changed. First, he's barely taking any threes. Markelle spent years trying to fix his shot, but it's just not working. At this point, it is better to just accept that and move on. It must have been so frustrating knowing that he has it in him. When he was in college, his jumper was smooth, but then the longer that drug out, the emotions just got worse. Now it looks like finally he's just accepting that he's not gonna really have a 3-point shot and he's weeding it out of his game. But now it is becoming okay to not shoot threes. When Cal was drafted in 2017, we were in the middle of the Warriors dynasty. If you didn't have a 3, you were basically irrelevant. But when every team in the league started to jump on that bandwagon, the advantage of only shooting 3s got less and less. This chart from The Ringer shows the correlation between mid-range shots and team field goal percentage. When Markelle was drafted, it was really stupid to take mid-range shots. But in 2022, it is one of the best shots in basketball. Now it actually makes sense to play the game like Markelle plays the game. His last full season, Cal shot 46% between the free throw and 3-point line. Prime mid-range territory. For comparison, DeMar DeRozan that year shot 43% from that spot, and Chris Paul hit 53%. Now, I'm not saying that Markelle is as good as those guys at the mid-range shot, but he's young. It's becoming okay to be a mid-range shooter again, and Markelle is embracing that. I think people root for Markelle Fultz because he seems like a genuinely talented and humble kid who was put through hell. Imagine being called a bust when you have a legit injury. But the Magic aren't saving an NBA bust because he wasn't an actual bust. He has talent. A real bust is Anthony Bennett. No offense, but he was cut by a team in Turkey for not being good enough. Markelle is good enough, and while I don't think he's gonna become a superstar in the league, he is finally in the right situation. One other player has completely turned around his game, and it's a different situation than Markelle Fultz. Markelle came into the league and, really hyped, and then he slumped, and now he's coming back. Kevin Love came into the league hyped. He was good. He won a championship, but in recent years, he's been awful. This season, he is a legit candidate for 6th Man of the Year, and no one is talking about how he has done this. I made an entire video about it. Check it out.